This is a review on the Beretta 92G. This is my first experience owning a Beretta. Had it for a couple of years. Got this a little while ago off of a website called Summit Gun Broker. This was actually a police trade-in, so I got it for a reasonable price. It was like $360, so I figure at that price, why not give it a shot. Always kind of wanted to try the 92 series. The G model is the police model. The difference being that the decocker here is spring-loaded. So when you go to decock it, this lever comes up. The standard 92 series, this would actually stay down, and it would be in a safe mode where you could not pull the trigger. You'd have to click this up first, and then you would have your standard 10-pound double action pull. The overall impressions of this gun when I first got it was positive. It's a very well balanced firearm. It performed very well for me initially, without me having to really warm up to it too much. I'll go over the overall outside appearance and the ergonomics first. I think I really like the design of the Beretta. I actually think that it's that's kind of what sets it apart from the rest of the firearms. It has this open slide design. It has a lot of character. You know, it just isn't like any other pistol. It is kind of overbuilt, and I don't really see that as a bad thing necessarily. It's, you know, for a 9mm, that's quite a thick slide, and I do think it's a bit of a heavy gun. I mean, if you were to conceal carry this, I could see where that might be kind of an issue, because it is kind of thick. It's a little bit heavier than your polymer counterparts like Glock or MPs. The other complaint that I hear a lot about it from people, the main reason why a lot of people don't like it, is they complain that the grip is just entirely too fat. Some people say it's like holding a soda can. I have large, medium, large, I guess, hands, and I actually don't mind the grip at all. I actually find it very comfortable. And what's kind of nice is, because the grip is a little bit wider, your two hands, when you grip it, they don't really fight for space. If you have a gun that's a little bit slimmer, I found that this hand here, your right hand, or whichever hand your dominant hand is, and your off hand sometimes fight for space in this little area. This allows me to have my palm very solid against the grip here, and they don't fight each other. So to me, it actually is very comfortable ergonomically. Now, as far as the trigger is concerned, I do like the trigger. I feel it's very smooth and consistent throughout the entire pull, and the single action is actually very crisp. You know, it's very clean, very predictable. And the reset, I'll just demonstrate the reset real quick for you. It's not too bad. It's right here, and then there's about that much slack to pull up again until you can fire. To me, the trigger feels kind of stiff, maybe just because I perceive it as being a little bit on the heavy side. I did change out the mainspring here for the 92D, the double action only model spring, which drops the double action pull from 10 to about 6 or 7 pounds, and the single action to about 4 or 5 pounds. But even with that, I would prefer it just to be a little bit lighter. You can do some mods to make it lighter, but I don't really want to go too far into that, because then you can get like primary ignition issues and stuff like that. But with a little bit of practice, my initial session out with this gun, I found it to be very accurate. You just need a little time to get used to it. One gripe I do have is you cannot change out the front sight on the 92. I believe the 92 series. I don't know if you can do it on, I forget if you can do it on the M9 or whatever it is, but you cannot change out the front sight. So you are stuck with this. This came with night sights. These are obviously very dim now because this gun is kind of old, so the tritium on this is kind of exhausted. But I can't change that out. You know, I'm sure you could probably hire someone to, you know, cut it off and mill out a slot to change the front sight, but I probably won't do that. I mean, the sights they're adequate. You know, they're not too bad, but I wouldn't mind if you know, if you could change that out for like a fiber optic or something like that. So that's one gripe I have. The other thing that I do not like about the pistol is the mag release. Uh, I just feel that it's a little bit too close to the gun. I would have liked it if it were to stick out, maybe like I don't know, maybe like a eighth of an inch more, or um, maybe not even that much, you know. But just a hair more, I feel that a little bit extra protrusion would help it. I feel like you really have to get in there and like push it all the way to the bottom to get that mag to release, to drop properly, you know, which means that I have to ensure that my you know, I have to transition to a position where I could really get some leverage on that button to get that mag to drop. My grip breaks about that much in order to do that, and I have to be extremely consistent. I can't be off at all when I drop the mag. So it takes a little bit more focus and concentration. They do have some aftermarket mag release buttons that are bigger, but they're like $70, and I think that's a little bit much just for a little mag release. I might do it if I use this more extensively in competition, but that's just my personal minor gripe about the ergonomics of the gun and handling of the gun. Now, as far as performance, accuracy wise, like I mentioned earlier, just initial accuracy with this gun was very impressive. I had no problem adjusting to it after you know, a few boxes of ammo. I could connect at 25 yards at a pretty decent group, you know, with very little time behind the trigger. So I found that to be pretty impressive. I didn't get to shoot it as extensively as I wanted to in you know, steel matches or USPSA matches, but I did have a couple informal sessions, and it did shine pretty well. I think I could probably do pretty well with it with just a little bit more, you know, time with it, maybe some dry fire practice. I think it actually performed very well. And I think recently, either 2011, I think it was a 2011 season or 12 season, this pistol actually won production. Took the national title in USPSA. So some people think the double action to single action setup is not that great for gun games, but apparently it is actually very capable. And that's a fine example. So overall, I'm really happy with the way that the gun performs. I think that you know, if you're looking into one, it's too bad that they don't sell the G version kind of as a standard setup. You know, they're pretty tough to come by. I only got it because it was a police trade-in. I particularly like this setup because it works much like a SIG or an HK, where you just decock it, you just pull the lever down, and you're ready to go in double action. The standard model, what you do is you would pull this lever down, it would stay down, and then it would be in a safe mode where you could not pull the trigger until you pop this up, and then you'd be able to do it in double action. My personal opinion is that a 10-pound or even a 6-pound double action trigger is safe enough. You don't need to have an additional external safety for that. The other thing is it kind of makes the mechanics of drawing and engaging the target in a quick manner a little bit more complex, because normally this would be down. So I don't know if it was designed so that when you come down to you know, draw the gun, your thumb is supposed to hit this, and then you're like this. But I just think it makes it a little bit more complicated. Of course, you can always just decock it in the standard 92 series, flip this up, and then you'd be in double action mode, you know, so that's fine. But I just like I like the consistency. Just do that and you're done. Unfortunately, from what I've read from the Beretta forums and other forums, you're not able to swap out the 92G slide and just put it on an FS slide. I could be wrong, so if you guys have, if you're like a 92 fan and you know that there is a way to do that, let me know. But from what I've read, you can't actually do that, which is kind of surprising. Apparently there's something a little bit different in either in the upper or the lower that prevents you from doing that. But overall, very reliable gun, shoots everything that I feed it. One thing I do notice is that you do have to keep it you do have to keep it particularly lubricated, like any gun, you know. But I do find that for whatever reason, the 92 series, at least this one anyway, just seems to kind of get dry, kind of quickly. And when it does, then it'll stop. You might have a couple minor issues. When I got the gun initially, it didn't come with a lot of lube, and I didn't really notice it. So when I went to shoot, it was I had a couple issues with very light loaded rounds that I reloaded myself. And then as soon as I dropped a couple things, drops of lubrication on the rails here and inside the slide, it was absolutely fine. So, but I do find that for whatever reason, you just kind of have to, you have to kind of watch that. But overall, I am very pleased with this pistol. It's kind of like my Workhorse pistol. You know, it'll eat anything that I feed it, and you know, I wouldn't hesitate to recommend it to anyone who's considering it. It's not everyone's cup of tea. Main reason is just the ergonomics. So if you're considering it, hold one and maybe put a box or two down and just see if you like the grip. But outside of that, I think it's a fantastic firearm. So as always, thanks for watching, and if you have questions or comments, leave them below.